So I'm back with another interview, and I'm very happy to be joined by someone I think is going to really make some moves in the next few years in Australian MMA. If you watch the countdown to UFC 301, you would have seen this man in his last victory get a arm triangle. I think it was. Was it an arm triangle? Yeah,
Had the arm triangle, but gone with the rear naked. Yeah.
that's right. Yeah, the rear naked. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, but yeah, he was on the countdown. He was also in the corner of Steve Erceg for his championship fight. So yeah, thank you so much for joining me, Mr. Lewis Christophersen.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you very much.
Uh, yeah, just talk to me about your last fight. Obviously, how was the pressure knowing that the UFC were going to be recording your fight? Did that add any extra pressure on you?
Nah, it's usually the same. Every fight, pressure's always going to be there, but I knew I could just do my thing and get the job done.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, just talk me through the actual fight itself. Obviously, I think Lachlan Penny had never fought before. I think it said on the domination thing that he had fought before, but I think that was his debut, right? So how do you prepare for a guy like that?
Yeah, so I think he had one fight maybe, but not fully official one. Yeah, I knew he was going to be quite a lanky, tall dude. So I was obviously in the gym preparing with dudes who are very tall, 6'3" and stuff, just to really get a find my range for those taller people. I came in there to wrestle and eventually get to the ground. I feel like I found my feet pretty well in the stand up, and then obviously ended up getting it to the ground and you know scoring some takedowns, some points, and I feel like I was up on the scorecards as well. And then finishing with that rear naked choke was, yeah, it was nice for sure.
Yeah, no, obviously I watched the fight back after you showed me how to find it, and your boxing looked
Yeah.
so crisp in that fight. And I'd heard he was like a championship level boxer, an amateur boxer or something like that. And you fucking boxed him up the whole fight.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I found my range early. As I said before, I've been sparring dudes you know, quite tall. Just be able to go in and out and fight in the pocket and stuff was definitely my game plan going into it. Yeah, he was a decent boxer, but once I was making him miss and being on the end of my shots and everything, I found quite success.
Yeah, you looked very impressive in your first two fights. Like watching it, how long have you actually been training? Because I'd spoke to a few people in your amateur debut, and that's one of the most high level debut performances I've seen. You've definitely been doing this for a while. I'd take it.
Yeah. So I've been in the gym since I was 8 or so, and I've done the kids martial arts and jiu-jitsu and stuff up until about 13 or 14 and stuff like that. And then obviously I've been doing fitness and love my fitness throughout my whole life. And then I started getting into the actual competitive adults MMA when I was about 14. So I've been taking it seriously since then, pretty much. I know I've always wanted to fight and something I'm very passionate about. So yeah, about 4 years I've been consistently, training to fight. Yeah.
Did you do any junior bouts, like any junior MMA or any
Yeah,
boxing or anything?
so yeah, I did try to get on a few Muay Thai shows, but people kept on pulling out on me, and I knew my end goal was to fight MMA. So after 3 or so pullouts and not much success finding a fight, I just said, screw this, I'm just going to focus on MMA. So when I do have my debut and I am 18 to be able to fight MMA, I'm just going to run through everybody.
Yeah, you're doing a good job of that. It's not just like you either. The guy you fought in your amateur debut, he seemed really fucking good as well. I don't know, it seemed like a pro level fight between you two in that debut. I generally, when I
Yeah,
seen your age and everything, I was like, what the fuck? How is he so fucking good at this age?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's just time in the gym, and just you're in there long enough and surrounded by a great bunch of boys down there. You're only going to get better. Jay was it was a very good opponent. I'll give him that. It was very tough to take some of those shots and definitely gave it back to me a little bit. But I found my first fight to go well. I found my feet early. trust my instincts, which I've been working on for years now, and yeah, I felt good. I felt good.
Yeah, and talk to me about the your opponent for the next Eternal card.
Yeah,
Sorry, not next, your card.
yeah,
Cesaro, I think his last name is. Yeah, what can you
yeah,
tell me about it?
yeah. So his name's Antonio Cesaro. He debuted on Eternal against someone called Liam Hosk. So I do some rounds with him every now and then. I think he's 3-2 at the moment. He lost his last fight by a split decision, but he's had some pretty impressive performances since his debut, including a couple knockouts and submissions and stuff like that. He's from over east, so he'll be flying over for this event. Um, he's quite, again, same as Lockie, maybe not as tall because Lockie is quite a tall bantamweight. Yeah, so once again, another tall dude I got a verse. Same game plans last time, pretty much. Stay on the outside, work my shots, get inside his range, and wrestle. Yeah, once again, it's just another tall dude that I got to face who's got some pretty crisp striking, but I think I can I can definitely get him to the ground, chain wrestle, and work my stuff from there.
It prepares you for, because I'd imagine being a bantamweight, you're looking at guys like, obviously you're only an amateur, but you're probably looking at guys like Corey Sandhagen and like Sean
Yeah,
O'Malley,
for
and you're
sure.
like, fuck, I'd love to match up against them. So, getting all these tall guys out of the way now is probably pretty good.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting my fair share of taller people, and so when it does come to my even height, like Jay or something, I can really show my skills inside my range. But for sure, it's a different game plan for each fight. Just depending on the opponent. But I feel like I'm pretty well rounded to adjust to most people's fighting style.
Yeah, definitely. And talk to me just about like the, training with Steve Erceg, a guy who's proven that he's UFC title caliber level. Like, just how is that the rounds training with him, a guy that good?
Yeah, so obviously get smashed around a bit. Yeah, he definitely gives me some tough rounds, but it's good, dude, just to have in the gym as well. Like obviously you guys probably seen a bit on the internet. Very humble and friendly and stuff like that. Obviously he has not a lot of knowledge that he can pass down to me and the rest of the gym and stuff like that. And he's just a good dude to be around in the gym. Tough rounds, yeah, good bloke.
Yeah, and I interviewed Steve obviously before his fight, and he had a lot of kind things to say about you. Because I asked him about you, and he said you're better than he was at that point in his career. So just pretty high praise from him.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
Yeah. How was just Brazil in general? Being in that environment. A bit of a negative environment for for you guys, I would imagine.
Yeah, it was cool for the most part. I mean, like the gym we went down to there, very friendly people. Like the Brazilian gyms, like they took us in, warm welcome. They were all very nice. Obviously, like leading up to the fight and stuff, it was hard to, like kind of find what to expect during like the walkout and everything. But yeah, it's definitely got some booze on the walkout and on the introduction to the fight and everything like that. But we found our feet. We got trained down there, and I feel like it went pretty smooth.
Yeah, I seen you, Steve, and your team and Rich Locker. You guys were playing like, is it like volleyball or something? What's that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we went down to the beach. It's always good just to have a little break from training sometimes when you're training that much and things like that. So yeah, we went down to the beach and tried to challenge some locals to some volleyball, some beach volleyball. Yeah.
Yeah, I seen a lot of the mamacitas coming and getting photos with all of you. Was that like you thought that was like a bit of a distraction plan from them or something? But
Yeah.
definitely.
It may have worked. Yeah, for
Uh,
sure.
but yeah, how was it being in his corner for that fight? Obviously, your championship level
Yeah.
fight, like the highest level of the sport, pretty much. And as
Mm.
an amateur, that must be pretty fucking crazy, man.
Yeah, it's very crazy. Honestly, I'm very grateful for these opportunities. All the boys at Wilkes and Steve gives me and stuff like that. It was pretty crazy. Like walking out and like I've done this a couple times now. Gone over with Steve Owen in his corner. It's always a pleasure. Um, just be able to watch Steve do his thing. Do his warm up, do his traditions or whatever he does, and just see how he goes live and like right in front of me is quite good to take in for me personally, like reflecting on what I do and how I carry myself and stuff, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you actually score the fight between him and Pantoja?
Yeah, so obviously I thought it was close. It depends what you really like count on the fight and things like that.
Yeah,
Going into like the decision and stuff, like and going into the last few rounds, I knew he had to, start pulling out some big shots or potentially get a finish. When it was the decision, yeah, I mean, as I said, it's tough to score damage over control and stuff, but personally,
yeah.
I think he was slightly short.
Yeah, I just remember watching that and just being like, "Fuck, come on, he's so close." But like
Yeah,
in Brazil,
yeah,
at the end of the day, if it's going to be close in Brazil, it's like
yeah,
it's
for
probably not
sure.
going to go his way.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a controversial decision slightly earlier in the card, and seeing that, I knew we had to get a pretty strong finish or a
Yeah.
good look on the scorecards to get a win over there.
Yeah, honestly, that was my exact thoughts. I can't even remember what the fight was now off the top of my head, but I remember seeing that. I was like, "Oh fuck, Steve's gonna have to fucking knock him down about 10 times to get the fucking decision."
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think it was a chick fight early in the prelims, and yeah, some people were upset over that one for sure.
Yeah, I can't even remember the fight, but I remember watching it and just being like, "What the fuck? Like how? Like
Yeah, yeah, for
yeah."
sure.
I
Yeah,
knew it'd be tough because obviously Pantoja being so durable, it's like, damn, the only way you're probably going to beat him is beating him up. So like,
yeah, for
it was going to
sure.
be a tough task.
Yeah, the game plan was definitely, cuts, like 1,000 cuts, not just
Yeah,
like laying that one big haymaker. Like the thing that are gonna put guys out like that is just chipping away at them and yeah, eventually knocking them down.
yeah. So outside of obviously your teammates and stuff like that, do you have like a favorite fighter to watch in the UFC?
Yeah, so obviously there's quite a lot of exciting fighters. I'm liking the lightweight division at the moment. I got a few dudes there, like obviously Gaethje and Holloway. That was a
Yeah,
crazy fight.
crazy.
Um, yeah, a few of those, mainly those lightweights, Gaethje, Holloway, Dustin, like a bit of Islam and stuff like that. Those exciting dudes were like quite athletic, could definitely knock some people out and produce very exciting fights.
If you had to compare your fight style to like a guy in the UFC right now, who'd you compare it most to?
Um, that's a tough one. Off my top of my head, I'm not sure, but obviously I like to think that I'm pretty well rounded. Like decent striking, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu and stuff. But yeah, so I'd say someone who's well rounded and decently fit. I like to say, yeah,
If I could pick somebody just watching your fights, obviously, you're still training and you're still getting up to
mm,
that level. But honestly, you remind me a lot of Ili Taboria with your fight style. You got good boxing, good
yeah,
jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. You sort of got that sort of style, the same similar style of boxing too. Like that's probably
yeah,
the best one.
yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, high praise. Obviously, you're still young, you're still
Yeah,
growing and
of
everything like
course,
that.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah. Don't want to give you
yeah,
too
yeah.
much of a big head. I'm not gonna,
Yeah,
you know,
of course. Yeah,
yeah.
of course.
But yeah, nah, fucking definitely very similar style, like that good boxing. And I think I've seen your brother's also a fighter, right?
Yeah, so me and him been training pretty much the same time, done kids jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. He also wants to fight MMA, but he's not 18 yet, so he's just trying to get a few Muay Thai shows in while he waits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's non-biasedly, who do you reckon's the better out of the two of you?
We definitely both have our strengths and weaknesses, but I reckon I'm the big dog here. Yeah.
Yeah, big brother for a reason, right?
Yeah, that's it, that big brother strength for sure.
Yeah. And was your like parents martial artists? Like, do your dad or your mum train?
Yeah, so my mum's been at the gym as well for however long I've been there, really since I was 8, just doing the fitness classes, or she even did a bit of martial arts and things like that. Dad, he's always been out and about doing stuff, but not quite in the that
Yeah.
specific gym or scene, but still obviously
Yeah.
very supportive.
Yeah, I think your dad actually followed me on Instagram a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
He's a Kiwi.
I
He's
wouldn't be
Kiwi, right?
surprised.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. That's
yeah,
it.
yeah. Is both parents Kiwi or just your dad?
Just my dad's side. Their mum's side's English.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was wondering
Yeah.
your last name. Your last name sounds sort of like Scandinavian, but I guess Kiwi.
Yeah, nah, I have got actually like my dad's kind of like I know I just said Kiwi, but some of them are like that Scandinavian kind of I don't know heritage.
Yeah. Damn,
Yeah,
I'm,
for
I'm
sure.
just too good. Like I generally, it just sounded very like who's
Yeah,
like
nah.
Gustafson and like the guys in the UFC with that Hermanson. They all got that
Mm,
Sen at the end there. So I thought it was something
yeah,
really similar.
nah, yeah, you're on the right track for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your goals as an amateur? Like how long do you want to actually fight as an amateur, and when do you look at going pro, or are you looking to
Yeah.
just go straight pro after this, or
Yeah.
take it long?
So yeah, of course. So they introduced a new rule last year that you need at least 6 amateur fights. It can be like Muay Thai, MMA, or whatever, to turn professional. So I'm basically just looking to get 6 fights as soon as possible, smash them out, and then I'll start picking my fights from not picking, but being more like um efficient with my fights and yeah. So 6 fights, that's me done. Turn pro and then start looking for some pro fights.
Yeah, awesome. And is there any guys like you see on the amateur and regional scene that you'd love to fight right now? Like, not calling them out or talking shit to them, but
Yeah, of
just like
course.
to match yourself against.
Yeah, I've seen a few good dudes like in the rankings. I think there's a few dudes that like float weight classes and stuff. Jesse Wayne, he'd be a good fight, I reckon,
Yeah,
in the future. He's doing pretty good at the moment, and I'm basically just looking to fight pretty much whoever in the top, you know, whatever in Australia at the moment. Just get my fights. I want to have a few tough fights before I turn pro, just so I can get that experience out the way with, and then really shine in my professional debut.
yeah, definitely. And with that like Muay Thai background and stuff, I'd imagine you're pretty, looking forward to go pro so you can finally get them, elbows going.
Yeah, elbows. Yeah, for sure. Definitely excite me. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the whole amateur scene is good and all, but like just the fact that it limits so many weapons is like fuck. I bet like a lot of you guys are like like probably thinking in that fight. Like I'm watching your fight against Penny, I could tell you wanted to throw elbows at him so many fucking times in the clinch.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely like looking for well, like I read openings and stuff like that. I think there's quite a lot of times where, you know, could have done it, but they could have also done the same to me. So it is what it is. When I turn pro, it'll be a slightly different, well, not game, but just views and aspects of what I can use in my toolbox.
Yeah, definitely. And like, how is the weight cut to bantamweight? Like, is this going to be your weight class for the foreseeable future, or do you see like a move up eventually?
Yeah, so I'm gonna see how my body fills out over the years, over the next couple of years. Like I am still growing. I'm only 18, so see how my body
Yeah,
fills out. If I do stay around this weight, I think I can probably make flyweight. But if I get a bit bigger or whatever, I think I like to put on a few more kilos and stay at a decent bantamweight size.
yeah.
But
Holy shit,
I
yeah.
can see bantamweight and flyweight if I don't grow too much.
Because how tall are you?
I think I'm 5'7", 5'8".
Okay, yeah. Because I was
Yeah.
thinking, because when I seen you in your debut, I thought you looked like pretty big for a bantamweight, but maybe the guy you fought wasn't like that much bigger. Because obviously Lachlan Penny was pretty
Mm.
fucking tall.
Yeah,
So,
he towered over
yeah,
me at the weigh-ins for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Jay was quite similar size. I think we were almost identical actually, with reach and
yeah.
height and everything. That was a good matchup. But yeah, of course, Lockie was very tall for the division.
Yeah, fucking crazy. It's like a thing you'd see over in Japan because they do those like
Yeah,
open
some
weight
like
fights and stuff like that.
some like huge mismatch or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it was like 6'1" or something like crazy. Like
yeah,
it's a pretty like even in the UFC and stuff, you don't really get much dudes over 6 foot. I think Sean O'Malley is like 5'11" or something, and
yeah.
he's
He's like the
pretty tall for the
tallest.
division. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So he was very tall. tough challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And then you'll probably get like a real short guy if you go to flyweight. Obviously, you'll be fighting like a
Yeah,
5'3" guy. Bit
yeah.
of a change.
I'll be the tall dude in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like you match up better against these taller guys or shorter guys? Like what, or like it just doesn't
Yeah.
matter?
So as I said earlier, I think there's a different game plan for each fighter, like just depending on their style and body and things like that. I think I'll be able to use my range a bit better. Like obviously versing a smaller person, I think I can do better on the feet. Just use a bit more of that toolbox and set up some things that just work that bit easier um, against a shorter person rather than like trying to get inside of their range and then
Yeah.
do my stuff, if that makes sense. But I've had quite a lot of experience with all styles and things, adjusting to different limb lengths and stuff like that, etc.
Yeah, definitely. Like when you fight, like you don't want to go in the pocket with some guy who's, let's say, he's got like a 60-inch reach. Like, why would you want to go in there with a
Yeah,
guy at such a big
of
reach
course.
disadvantage?
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, and how's the rounds with Rich Lockett? Because I actually trained with Rich many, many years ago, and he used to fuck everybody up. So how are those
Yeah,
rounds?
it's I can say things haven't changed. He's
Yeah,
yeah, I can say things haven't changed. He definitely gives me a run for my money. Um, but yeah, he beats me. But he's a good spar for sure. Like getting in the fight, knowing you've done rounds with those dudes gives me confidence, and knowing that I don't think too many people will be able to pressure me as well as he does, and just give me a hard time with lots of different looks and types of punches and just the cardio he has. So it gives me confidence sparring with these dudes like Richie and Steve and everything like that, especially at a amateur level.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, I know. I got lucky. I only did wrestling against Rich. I didn't do any
Oh, okay.
boxing, so yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
I didn't have to
Lucky.
deal with some of the concussions.
Yeah.
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 You actually, you trained with one of my mates from Drillich Combat Academy the day before Steve's fight against Pantoja got booked because there was a photo you, my mate Cade.
Oh, yeah, those
Yeah,
boys.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. They came down just to do some rounds, or whatever, just during one of the morning classes. Obviously, I was preparing to fight Lockie at the time,
yeah,
so I can't remember which one was which, but the taller dude was good to get some rounds with because he was quite similar size to Lockie, and they're all a nice, good group of boys.
yeah. That's actually my mate, the
Oh,
tall one.
okay,
Yeah, he's a Muay
that's
Thai
them.
fighter. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's a good bloke.
yeah, yeah. It would be good rounds as well. 6'1". I think he's gonna be a featherweight as well when he ends up fighting. So he'll be
Yeah,
pretty big
some of
featherweight.
yeah, for sure. Some of those taller boys get some muscle and some weight behind them. They're quite big for the division, definitely.
Yeah, you see a lot of it's weird because like the tall, skinny guys, they seem to have some weird power to them, like Jarlin Turner, like even like guys on the regional
Yeah,
scene, like Abdallah. Like it's so fucking weird. Like they're so
yeah,
powerful. Like
mm, for sure. Yeah, definitely see some power from those bigger boys. Like getting some muscle behind those long limbs, especially, can deliver some hard shots.
yeah, definitely. Do you see like is there any guys in the UFC? Like obviously they'll probably it's hard to know how things are, but if you could just like put yourself in the UFC, like what's your dream fight against like guys right there now?
Guys, right there now. Um,
Yeah,
I haven't looked too much at like the lower level, like bantamweights at the scene and stuff like that. But ideally, yeah, just go through the eternal ranks and eventually find some contract to get into the UFC. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know about actual opponents, but I think give it 4 or so years, I think I'll definitely be ready to take on most of those like lower level dudes in UFC and rise through the ranks, just
yeah.
like Steve's
Hopefully
done.
we're gonna get UFC Fight Night, Christophersen versus Raul Rosas Jr.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd fight him in the future for sure.
It's crazy. Like he's only a year older than you. He's already in the UFC. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's
crazy
crazy,
how
man.
quickly you get in there.
Yeah, it's weird because like obviously where he's from and stuff, he's had whatever amount of fights before he was even 18. Like I've only like,
Yeah.
of course, I would fight MMA and stuff like that before I was 18, but I just had to level up my skills, and unfortunately wait till I was a certain age to be able to fight. But yeah, he's a good fighter,
Yeah.
and obviously had a decent amount of experience.
Yeah, the thing is, when he fought on Dana White Contender Series, his parents actually had to sign a waiver that he was like, he had parental permission.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, I actually seen something not too recently ago, but about that his parents, yes, pulled him from fighting until he got his act together and started doing his chores.
I,
So yeah, I'm not sure when we'll see him next. Hopefully he's made his bed, then his parents let him fight again.
yeah. I seen actually a video of him like knocking running a house as well, and like
Oh
because
really?
of his jaw, like you can tell it's him.
Yeah,
Obviously,
yeah, you can just, yeah, for sure. He's just got that look. Yeah.
like he seems like he's always fucking around. Because I also seen a video after like weeks after he got his UFC contract, it was him like throwing shit at like teachers or throwing shit at students in
Yeah.
classes. Like, what are the teachers
Mhm.
even gonna do?
Yeah, I imagine you feel pretty good at that young age to get an opportunity like that. I'm sure he's loving it.
Yeah, definitely. Like speaking of which, like obviously because you've been training for so long, did people just know not to like fuck with you at school, or did you ever deal with anyone like trying to start things?
Yeah, so it's funny you asked that. Yeah, so obviously like people have known I've fought and stuff, like not fought, but was a fighter like when I was back in school and stuff. But didn't actually have any fights leading up to that, so they kind of just like believed me that I was good and stuff like that. But I've had a few people, try to start or whatever, and they seem to back down pretty quickly when it comes back the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't mind me asking, like what school did you go to?
Yeah, of course, no worries. I went to Applecross down the
Ah,
road.
yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
it's not the most sketchy school or anything like that.
yeah.
But yeah, it was alright. They allowed me to do my workplace twice a week down at Wilkes, so I was able to
Oh,
train during the day and stuff like that, which was very fortunate for me and my martial arts journey.
yeah, almost didn't go full Cody Haddon though. I think Cody Haddon actually he told his dad made up a fake trade for him so he could go and train like 4 days a week or something when he was at school.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's good.
Yeah, no, that's really good though that you know your dad and your parents seem very supportive. Obviously, like
Yeah.
some people's parents wouldn't even want them like sparring or doing like any sparring, let alone
Yeah.
going and fighting. You know.
Yeah, definitely. I think we've kind of just been grown up around it all, so um, they're pretty supportive of it. Definitely, I can imagine some parents not wanting their little Timmy to get inspiring or whatever. But yeah, my parents are full blow.
Yeah, nah, that's good then. So how do you see yourself getting this fight done over Antonio Cesaro?
Yeah, so I see myself figuring his range out at the start, testing the zones, and then eventually, well, not eventually, but getting inside, landing a few hard shots, just chain wrestling, get him down, and just ragdoll him on the ground, control him a bit, force him into bad position, some ground and pound, and then eventually snatch his neck or just finish it with some hard shots.
You know,
That's really good.
you'd have a pretty good resume like for your first three fights if you were to go decision, sub, and then TKO for your first three fights. That'd be a pretty good
Mm.
achievement.
Yeah, so I don't want to like look too much in the future and stuff like
Of
that, but
course.
I'll be pretty happy with a good finish here. I believe it will put me in a good position in the ranks to get another hard fight. Ideally in August, on the Eternal show then. Maybe
Yeah.
4-0, 18, ready to take on some more challenges.
Yeah, I'd love to see that the Jesse fight you were talking about. Like he's a
Mm.
pretty good guy, 4-0. You'll be 3-0 by the time, if you
Yep.
win. Yeah, that'd be a good fight.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah. So, like, ideally, you just looking to fight in Perth for the meantime, just because I'd imagine travel and everything would be pretty expensive at this point.
Yeah, so I'm trying to get whatever fights I can. So I was looking at some Ascension belts and things like that, like amateur belts, maybe just to finish off my amateur career or something like that. I believe they got them over in South Australia or wherever they are. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing some travel for my amateur career, not for like the rest of my fights, of course, but if I gotta get an amateur belt just to shine off that amateur record, I'll be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Like you see a lot of these guys like building up resumes from all the belts. Like if you're a pro, would like is it like eternal? Just but you fight anywhere. Like once you go pro.
Yeah, so I think I'll be doing probably my pro most of my pro fights at Eternal ideally.
Yeah.
I think they got quite a good show going on and can get my face out to the UFC.
Yeah. I feel like it's probably the best way, right? Because there's the fight pass deal and everything like that.
Yeah, for sure, definitely.
Yeah, like obviously champion right now. I think Rod Costa's the champ, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Obviously, do you cross train at Scrappy as well? Because I know Steve does, but do you just train at Wilkes?
Yeah, so not at the moment. Maybe just because there's some dudes there that I maybe want to fight in the future and things like that. Training them with them, might be a bit iffy, but
Yeah.
I can see maybe in the future, once I've separated myself from these dudes, getting some sparring with some different looks, and they definitely got some good dudes down there, so it wouldn't be a bad shout.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Like you versus Rod in the future would be pretty cool if he's still like knocking about. Obviously, got really good jujitsu.
yeah, he's got very good jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. It'd be good. Like it would show your well-roundedness if you were to go in there. Like obviously Jack Jenkins before he got signed, his last win was over Rod Costa.
Yeah, yeah, both very talented dudes, and yeah, I can see myself just slowly rising through the ranks, get some
Yeah.
hard fights, and getting that eternal belt.
Yeah, definitely. It sort of makes me wish that like Eternal would do like some amateur belts or something like that. I feel like that'd be pretty cool, like to make you guys stand out from the pack a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely get some motivation to some younger amateur fighters. But I think that pro eternal belt's what I'm coming for.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, I can't wait to see it. I think I think that's all I wanted to ask. So
Yep.
yeah, thank you so much for the chat. Actually, was
Yeah, of
this your
course.
first interview you've done?
It was, yes.
Yeah, fuck yeah, awesome.
Yeah, cool. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
No, that's awesome, man. Thank you. Thanks for joining me. I truly like. I try to interview guys I think are going to be future stars or are stars or whatever. Like, I generally think you got a really bright future. Like, I'm not just saying this because you agreed for the interview
Yeah,
or
of
anything
course.
like that. I
Yeah,
really do see you going pretty
yeah,
far, man.
yeah. Cool. No, I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
No, I appreciate it. Cheers.
Cool.
Yeah. So if you guys made it this far, make sure you give it a like, subscribe, and see you guys next time.